Hello beauties, how are you doing? It's a lovely rainy Monday today. So I wanted to just jump on, connect and do this video. This video will be titled How to Stop Being Scared of Life. And the reason why I'm doing this video, because as I've done a lot of self-awareness work and healing on myself, more and more I've become aware, and especially where I've come from, I was so trapped in fear. And the current state that I'm in, I have done a lot of work in myself, literally through doing the EH method, learning that, and also having people do it on me. So it helped me shift a lot of energetic baggage, literally so much fear that was paralyzing me and distorting me really seeing who I truly was and the uniqueness of who I am and what makes me special, what makes me loved just for being me. It was so distorted because there was so much fear and so much of a narrative, a story that I was telling myself about me, and I was so stuck in it. And as you listen to this video, if you can relate to being in that place, maybe you're in that place now, maybe you've been in that place in the past, just know that maybe just a lot of the things that you're thinking about yourself, what you're thinking about life, isn't true. And the amazing thing about our consciousness, our minds, all these things that we've been given, our feelings, all it takes is someone to share a message with you, someone to connect with you, someone to teach you a different way for us to expand our maybe somewhat narrow outlook on the world, life, and also how we interact with the world. So like I was saying, I was in a place where I used to be petrified of life and interacting with life and fearing that people somehow would find out that I wasn't good enough, because that's what I believed about myself for so long. And obviously this is my core program, so it still sneaks up on me at some points. And I've recently today as well, I've had a lot of self-worth things come up because things are really moving in my life and I'm generally happy. And there is a bit of an imposter syndrome, where I'm like, oh gosh, do I really deserve this? And can it get even better? So I'm working through that, especially for journaling and using the EH method. That's amazing. And you can do it on yourself as well. And this whole healing process, and really when I say healing, my definition is that we are perfectly imperfect, we're perfectly fine, who we truly are. And that's, to me, that's the more we connect to our soul, we become more of our true self, and we start to I would say remove the layers of the ego, but the ego, through doing the healing work and acknowledging the ego starts to take a back seat and surrenders, so we can come more from our heart space, from our soul. And to me, that's our authentic self. I've lost track of what I was saying. So in terms of that being your authentic self, like I said, healing, it happens in layers. But I'm kind of delving off from my main point. So what I want to talk about today is how to get over fearing life. So like I said, for me, I used to be petrified of doing anything. And most recently, I've been working through this on a deeper layer, because it's still a theme in my life, in terms of, in some ways, some parts of my life are quite rigid because there's still that fear there, not 100% sure that life, the universe, God is 100% there for me. And now I'm in a place where I have enough energetic room to not to even when fear comes up, I can work through it and not sabotage myself. Now I'm in that place, I can give advice in terms of certain tips. So in terms of, if you're watching this video and you feel like you struggle with maybe putting things off, interactions with people, really going after your goals, and you feel like when you breathe into yourself and ask yourself the reason why you maybe procrastinate, the reason why you don't see yourself doing certain stuff, obviously there's probably going to be a big level of not feeling good enough, but also a lot of people, I'm saying already, have this fear of life itself. And it makes sense because most people are in fear, and most people, even if they're wouldn't say they're fearful, the logical mind of how most people think is very much in the 3D box, and most people don't think beyond and believe that there's something beyond this 3D experience. And so in terms of my main point is, if you're fearful of life, you really need to connect to something beyond this 3D world, in terms of I have to completely rely on myself, and this world is fear-based, because to me that's a illusion. It's not true. We can connect to that world, that energy that is unconditional love, and where things come to us in abundance, and the universe is 100% there for us. But it's all firstly, it's a mental shift, but it's also an energetic shift. And as we expand our consciousness, so in terms of practicality, in terms of steps, the first thing you need to do is to connect to something that expands your consciousness, in terms of you realizing that there's something beyond this 3D experience. And that can be different for different people. And if you're watching my videos, you probably have some sort of spiritual awareness or practice, but you really need to cement that into your daily routine. So that could be meditation, that could be connecting to your spirit guides, that could be connecting to God, having conversations with God. It means connecting to nature is so powerful as well, in terms of when you're connecting to nature, it makes you realize who you truly are. It takes away that illusion. And also energetically, nature is a light, high vibrational energy. And when we're in our rooms, indoors, I'm definitely a homebody, but I've also learned as well the importance of getting out in nature, because it revitalizes you. It when you're maybe feeling a bit low, a bit down, just connecting to nature can make such a big difference. So that would be my first point in terms of advice. And then I would, in terms of, it's a similar point, but it's also important to start to actually acknowledge these fears, because a lot of the time we can be caught up in our programs, and we can be getting frustrated with ourselves, in terms of that maybe we know we're not fully going after life, and not even going after it in terms of but we're not fully immersing ourselves in life because of fear. And we can get frustrated with ourselves, and we can also have that subtle not clinical, but some people are experiencing that, but that subtle depression where life is not what we expected. And a lot of the time when we're not living the life that we want, there's a high level of fear that's preventing us from truly committing and going after and allowing ourselves to experience the life that we want, because there's a great deal of fear around life. And specifically, is God going to be there for me? So in terms of that, I think it's really good through journaling to really acknowledge those fears and start to layer by layer ask questions of where this comes from. What age of me is this? What age of me has this fear? Where did this fear come from? What parent did I learn this from? And start to peel back the layers so you can really acknowledge the fear in detail and the root of the fear. Because a lot of us are just getting to the cycle of continuing the same behavior, the same pattern, the same program, whatever you want to call it, because the ego doesn't want us to acknowledge it, because it's just from a place of fear as well. So that would be my second point, and maybe the first step that you would do, and also a daily practice of really connecting to something beyond you, or also connecting to yourself as well. That's really powerful as well. Connecting to your heart space is like the quickest way to take you out of fear is connecting to your heart space as well. And that should be the aim. And that's probably finished video in terms of advice. Connecting to your heart space is so powerful and really takes you out of fear and really connects you to the truth of the universe and connects you to the fact that we are all loved. So I would I would do that. So I got like a brain freeze. I would do that. Connect to your heart space. There's meditations in terms of doing that and really starting to expand that energy. And literally, in terms of connecting to your heart space, anything that you bring focus and attention to. So it's also great, especially when you're starting off, to place your hands on your chest when you're meditating. You can do guided meditations. But it's great to get to a stage where you can literally just be in silence and just really connect to your truth. And you will, don't put any pressure on yourself, but I'm sure as you continue this practice, you will start to have an experience, whatever that is to you. And the most important thing is you will start to operate more from your heart space. And I truly believe when you operate from your heart space, in terms of your external reality, these fear-based situations become less and less because you're operating from love, your heart space, not from your logical mind. That's basically like a monkey mind a lot of the time. And also you just get this, for me personally, this sense of peace, this sense of knowing, sense of guidance, sense of protection. It can be different for everyone, but to me it's the truth. So that's also really powerful. And lastly, what I would say, and you can definitely get this if you work for me in terms of a one-to-one coaching basis, but you need to, what really truly helped me on my journey is starting to understand, firstly, that you are soul in a human body, having a human experience, but you are soul first. And when you start to understand, for more that masculine part, in terms of a lot of people, especially people that are drawn towards me in my videos as well, are spiritually interested and self-aware, but they also want to understand the reasons why they have gone through certain things. And once you can understand things from more of a soul perspective, and you realize that nothing really is personal, and you realize that everything that happens, your soul has to give permission, you realize that everything is happening for your greater good. And yeah, so brain freeze again. So that's really powerful. And there's lots of information that you can find on the internet. There's lots of books, and also you can work with me. And the reason why I say that, my light's gone. The reason why I say that is because I'll carry on. Oh, it's the lion's bit shit. The reason why I say this is because that's been my experience and my training, in terms of me really delving into that and starting to understand things that I've experienced from a soul perspective. And I think it's just so empowering to really start to see things from that way of thinking. And especially, it takes you out of that victim state of mind, and it takes away, most importantly, that fear, because you realize that everything's working for you. And there's so many other things I can say. Also tapping into law of attraction, manifestation. I'm really starting to work with that. Um, and in terms of a course that I'm doing right now, that I've been doing for a few months, I'm learning so much in terms of manifestation, and I really like to pass on that knowledge in terms of the more I'm embodying those actual practices. I want to share that on a one-to-one coaching basis as well. And what I've learned is that you can do all the intention, desire, setting an intention, but we need to also be doing the shifting through beliefs and emotions that are blocking us from receiving the things that we want in our life. And once you start to realize that actually everything that we desire energetically is around us, and we just need to create energetic space and remove the shield, the barrier, to let it in, again, that will expand your consciousness, because you will realize that life is there for you, God is there for you, the universe is there for you, whatever resonates with you. So those are probably around 4 points in terms of my advice, in terms of if you have any fear around life and life being there for you. It's definitely a belief that I've had, and I've been shifting through layer and layer, and it's just, to a degree, be excited if you have this belief, because I truly believe the more you shift through that, life just gets more expansive and exciting. And I always have the belief of the opposing reality. The more and more we shift through this belief that's not serving us. So that's most of my point. And I also just want to say that having a level of fear of life is actually very common. I'm sure it is. Most people that I've interacted with as well have said the same thing. So you're one of many, but we have the power to shift through any belief, to shift through any program, shift through any emotional trauma. So just know that you are powerful and you can do it. So I hope these steps have helped you. And if you would like to delve into this a bit deeper, then please feel free to just contact me, DM me, and I'll honestly be more than happy to talk to you on the phone and just give you a few more tips. And if you would like to take it further, then that's perfectly fine and amazing as well, and we can talk about actual going through a transformational journey in terms of my coaching. So with that, have a great evening, a great morning, a great day wherever you are in the world, and I will see you guys soon. Bye.